On the road out of Nevada and into the deep hours of the night, an ominous red glow gathered in front of me. It was late, known to some as the witching hour. When my eyes finally made out what they were seeing, I shook Nicole out of her slumber. Embers darted and danced in the starless and smoky sky. We stood for a moment in terrified awe, but did not linger. Before long, no human on Earth will remember what it was like without the Great Fires.
This dude was in the women's restroom and he literally peed on the seat and the floor, left the seat up and left the room, like, without even washing his hands.
We got into this campsite last night around 3 a.m. Set up the tent real briefly. And then, yeah, I didn't really get much sleep. I was kind of tossing and turning all night. I kind of had a horrible gas, and then later explosive diarrhea in Galapagos fashion. I was like running all over the place. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna blow. And I couldn't find any toilet paper because, well, we didn't bring any. We usually have everything in the van, but we were not prepared to rough it in the slightest.
And then this morning we went for a swim in the freezing cold river. So now I'm gonna get dressed and then we're gonna head into Glacier National Park. So last night when we were driving to this campsite, Troy woke me up in the middle of the night and we drove through a wildfire, which is pretty crazy. I've never seen that before. The whole sky was orangish red and the trees were all on fire and falling.
And then shortly after, we figured out that we left our most prized possession at my parents' house, our boots, both of our boots. Now we both have slip-on shoes. And
I only have sandals. They're like Jesus sandals. And he's just got some like slipper moccasins, so
yeah. We're gonna try and hike Glacier National Park in nothing but slip-ons.
Yeah.
Should be an adventure.
How many of our lands will be utterly consumed? Every year, doubling in frequency and increasing in size, these violent, unstoppable infernos can reach over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet hope always blooms in the wake of blazing decimation. We saw affirmation of this hope after landing in Glacier National Park, mystical skylands which take you through a grand corridor of towering peaks. Absolute heaven on earth. Yet 1 year earlier, they roared with hell's unholy fury. $1.6 million Montana acres incinerated in the 2017 wildfires, including the beloved lands of Glacier. The most devastating in over a century. And the most difficult realization of all is that all this destruction was merely a precursor. For there are a few key differences here today compared to the world 100 years ago. The first difference centers around why Glacier got its name in the first place.
Okay, day one at Glacier complete.
Yep.
What next?
Find a campsite.
That is a grizzly bear up there with 3 others. That's pretty insane. And a good way to tell if it's a grizzly bear or a smaller, well, black bears, but they can be brown or like almost white, is the grizzlies have a hump of muscle right on their back. So that's a good way to tell it's a grizzly.
In 1850, there were about 150 physical glaciers in the park. Today, we approach less than 30. And by the year 2030, there will be none. The second difference is a small but deadly one: the mountain pine beetle, an insect that burrows deep into pine trees, reproduces, and causes them to die. The only control for these widespread pests were the deep freezes of winter. However, with the Earth undeniably warming, this runaway problem is now getting worse all across the continent. From Montana to Colorado and British Columbia, dead pine trees are often a more common sight than living ones. Perfect kindling to set an entire continent ablaze. So where exactly is this hope I speak of? Among the charred trees, resting in their shade, were thousands of blooming wildflowers. A reminder that even after chaos, beauty can sprout from the ashes. And just like these blossoms, young and inquisitive minds are springing forward from around the world. Earthlings are finally banding together into one global village, from which the greatest minds of all generations will lead humankind to the stars. Just left Glacier. Now we're on the road. We are here at Applebee's for a really quick pit stop. We have to eat. There's like no vegetarian places here in Great Falls. Yeah, got our water and a straw that I refuse to use because it is not cool that you use it for an hour and then it is here for millions and millions of years. It might seem trivial, but in the end, it matters. So, no straws. We got helped by a 95-year-old man. So, who said there would be gas at the next town? And guess who's following? One of the locals, a kind old man named Tim McAllister, to go get gas from his house. It's part of the Montana hospitality.
It's just one of those moments that the camera, we couldn't bring it out for that. Like, I don't know, it's just this 95-year-old, like, sweet man who's drooling and trying to help us. He showed us his camper. The inside, he got it for $10.60. I think we made it.
Yeah! We made it though, we made it to gas. We are like literally on empty.
We have one notch left.
I was nervous there for a second.
Yeah, me too. I thought we were gonna make it.
We always make it.
Just a
little bit of adventure.
Yeah, some extra adventure for a road trip.
Those little experiences, like that's cool. Like that would have never happened anywhere else. It's like they really are right when they say that the adventure doesn't start until everything goes wrong. We're still on our way to Billings to go grab the van and then just keep heading east. We're gonna head east as soon as possible. I think this part of the journey is gonna be over pretty quick just because we got a ton of work to do. Especially because we have a huge announcement for part 2 first. Yeah, it's not as chewy. That's good. I think we should make it a goal. In fact, I plan on it of showing you guys all the different candies in parts of the country. And so this is Idaho Spud. You can find it in Idaho. It's pretty delicious. But we're in Montana, so you can find it here too. There's a Twin Bing. And it's like chocolate, some like oatmeal, peanut, chocolate stuff in the middle. Or just cherry flavored nougat. Pretty interesting, chocolate and cherry nougat, but
I don't think we can like it.
You won't.
Swarming the drone. They still kind of are.